Okay, so I'm recording this little disclaimer before the actual video. For some reason, after the last Windows update, what happened was Windows reset all of my volume settings and then didn't tell me, which meant they jacked my mic volume all the way up to 100%. I had it set to like, I don't know, 80, I think, because that's the level I want it at so that it doesn't sound blown out. But anyway, Windows stealthily set that at all the way up at 100, and I didn't realize that because when I started recording, I immediately switched from OBS to just looking at the actual puzzle, and I didn't notice on the like recording display that the the mic volume was in the red the entire time. Unfortunately, I didn't notice that until the very end. So the audio is going to be pretty jank. I've adjusted it so that it isn't going to be too loud, but it is going to sound blown out. So don't blame me. If you want to blame somebody, blame Windows. Because honestly, who does that, right? Who goes into somebody's computer and then changes all of their volume settings and then doesn't even tell them? It's a real dick move, but you know what? It is what it is. And I guess this is just the world we live in now. Like every single time I'm gonna have to check my volume because Windows is just gonna like change it without telling you. Whatever. I think that's about enough. You know, let's just get into the episode. All right, just let's just get into it. All right, people. It is time to do some more connections. And you know, we're just gonna go in and see how we do. We're on a 13-day streak. There's an achievement. One of the many newly added achievements is to get a streak of 100, which we are very far from doing. But you know what? One day at a time. We'll get there, of course, with connections, unless you cheat. It's hard to keep your streak going because every once in a while there's a puzzle that is just so obscure that it's unsolvable. But you know what? Maybe we'll get a bit lucky somehow and get 87 puzzles in a row that are in our wheelhouse or that we can just like bluff our way through. Anyway, that's far into the future. I think it's best to just take things one day at a time and, one puzzle at a time, 1 week at a time. And let's take on this week's Sunday connections. And with that pep talk out of the way, let's see what we got. So, squash, leek, kale, and chive could be like food items missing a letter. Eek, quash, and hive. Now then. Swipe, pinch are uh, slang terms for stealing something. That might be a little bit. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. So counter, booth, bar, table are seating options. Right, let's see. Chill, loaf. Veg, these are terms for being idle, but is there a fourth one? Lounge. Chill, loaf, veg, lounge, and what is left is scroll, swipe, pinch. Right, yeah. These are things you can do on your phone. And what's the last one? Tap. Yeah. So I'm pretty confident in this. So ale, eek, quash, and hive. Vegetables missing a letter. Yeah. Vegetables with first letter removed. And now comes the part where you can no longer use logic, because it's all about guessing what the person who set the puzzle thought was the second most difficult. And, you know, it requires you to read minds, which is something that I struggle with. Honestly, I struggle enough just understanding what people are telling me when I'm just like when they're in front of me. So obviously, if I'm now being asked to guess what is in the mind of somebody who I've never even met, yeah, obviously it's going to be a bit of an issue. But let's stop making excuses and let's just pick something that we think is the second most difficult. And I think it's going to be the Chill Loaf Veg Lounge. Fuck off. Come on, man. Really? What? Okay, so scroll swipe pinch tap? Was that blue? That's man, come on, man. The seat this is not man, come on. Well, we got our purple first. We got another perfect puzzle. Let's see how tough it was. I think it's gonna be like at least high 60s, maybe even 70% solve rate. Yeah, yeah, I was uh underestimating it. Pretty straightforward puzzle because there wasn't really any super obscure stuff going on, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's no way to tell. Effectively, everything else was uh like a one-third chance. What was what I picked, what I thought was going to be the easiest, and which ended up being the easiest was the seating options. That was the easiest to spot, and out of these three, I correctly guessed. No, maybe I didn't correct. I guessed that this would be the hardest, and it wasn't, or that it would be the lowest, the one with the lowest, or like whatever you want to say, like the second most tricky thing. It wasn't. Well, you know what? You know what? You know what? It's uh, it's another puzzle done. How are we for time? We're 6 minutes. No reason to, dilly dally. We had a job to do. We did. You know what? I might as well just do the mini because I haven't done the mini yet. So might as well get it done. Went illegally fast. It's gonna be sped. Many characters on pit. No idea what that is. No, I think that's a doctor show, right? So it's doctors. Place pair for griller tongs, probably. Number of what? 8? That's a very obscure way of cluing the number 8. It's gonna be Seth Meyers. Pair of what? Pants? Alright. Hey, you over there is gonna be psst. And it's gonna be shoes. Pair of shoes. Pair of shoes, pair of pants. Alright, well, I think that's about it. That's all we got time for today. We did the thing, and we even went ahead and did the mini as well as a bonus. And we're still gonna clock out at under 10 minutes, which I think is a uh, pretty reasonable time. And yeah, I'm gonna say that's gonna be all for this week. And until the next time, take care.